Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Rahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamritam Nama Om Vishnu Padhaya Krishna Putraya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharani Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarini He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पापेभ्यो वैभ्यो नमो नमः श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. So welcome to the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Southern Division. We are going to today begin with the discussion on Sthayi Bhav. Up till now, we had the overview of Vibhav, Anubhav, Satviki Bhav, and Vabhichari Bhav. And today, we will start with the Sthayi Bhav. We did not have a Sthayi Bhav because we have not discussed Sthayi Bhav. Okay. So Sthayi Bhav from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. This is just the table of contents. There is a definition of Sthayi Bhav which we will be seeing into it today. And there is the Mukhya Rati, the primary Sthayi Bhav. And within that, there are two roles in it. One is I have to mute all, otherwise there will be distractions. One is the Swartha nourishes itself. Parartha allows secondary rati to become predominant. The Swartha means it nourishes the, Mukhya Sthayi Bhav. But sometimes the Hasyaras, which is the secondary, that becomes prominent. And the Sthayi Bhav is not prominent. So that is called as Parartha. Of course, we'll go into details of all these definitions. And then there are the types. Shuddha Rati. Within this Shuddha Rati, there is Samanya Rati, Swachha Rati, Shanta Rati. Again, we'll understand this when we discuss. After Shuddha Rati, there is Kevala, pure or Sankula, mixture of primary Ratis. Then there is Priti Rati, Dasya, Sakya Rati, Vatsalya, and Priyata Rati. This is Madhurya Rati. So even within the Shanta, there are some, fine discriminations done. And we will see these definitions and try to understand them. Maybe today or tomorrow we'll do that. And then there is the Gaunarati, the secondary Sthayi Bhav. This is the secondary Sthayi Bhav. And we know that there are 7. Hasya, Adbhuta, Utsaha, Shoka, Krodha, Bhaya, and Jigupsa. Then power of Rati. Rati as a principal cause of Vibhav, Anubhav, and other elements increase Rati. Hearing about previous devotees encodes Rati. The combination produces complete satisfaction in devotee. Suffering caused by Shokrati is only apparent. Okay? So the powers of Rati will be discussed, and these are the topics which will be discussed. Production of Rasa from Rati. How does Rasa happen? The production of Rasa. In Ayurveda, you mix the ingredients and then the combination will produce a rasayan. So similarly, how these ingredients combine and produce rasa from rati will be discussed. And then there are the primary rasas. The primary rasas are Shanta, Preeti, Preyo, Vatsala, and Madhurya. So Shanta is Shantaras, Preeti is Dasiras, Preyo is uh, Sakyaras, then there is the Vatsalya and the Madhurya. And then there are the secondary rasas, Hasyaras, Adbhutaras, Veeraras, Raudraras, Bhayanakaras, and Bibhatsaras. And then colors and deities of the rasas. So rasas are like simply colors. So that will be one topic. And then taste in rasas, Purti, Shantaras, Vikas, all rasas from Preeti to Hasya. So there are different combinations of secondary rasas which join with the primary rasas. So in Vikas, there is all rasas from Purti to Hasya. And Vistara is Adbhut and Virya. Vikshepa is Karuna and Raudra. Shobha is Bhayanak and Bibhatsya. So again, when we go into the details of this, you'll get to understand. Then what is the blissful nature of rasa? Disqualification of rasa, difference between rasa and bhava. So that completes, it's a quite which will be around probably 12 classes, 12 to 15 classes. So before we go into Srila Rupa Goswami's actual verses of discussion, let's go into Jaiva Dharma, chapter 28, further consideration of Rasa Tattva. Now, this is Vijay Kumar and Vajranath who are having discussion with Gopal Guru Goswami. The next day, Vijay Kumar and Vajranath returned to Sri Gopal Guru Goswami and after offering their prostrate obeisances, continued with their esoteric inquiries. In particular, they wished to clarify certain subjects of Rasa Tattva that they had been discussed during their earlier visits. Vrajanath started the inquiries. Gurudev, you have described the four bhavas, Vibhava, Anubhava, Satviki Bhav, and Vaibichari Bhav. Amongst these four bhavas, there was mention of Sthayi Bhav, permanent spiritual mellow. So now they begin with the discussion of Sthayi Bhav. So he's asking about Sthayi Bhav, which is the permanent spiritual mellow. So actually there has to be Sthayi Bhav of Vatsalya or Sakya. And because the Sthayi Bhav is there, it combines with the ingredients Vibhav, Anubhav, Satviki Bhav, Vaibichari Bhav, and actually gives rise to Rasa, which we have studied in the beginning, if you remember. Okay, Goswami answers. All the categories you have mentioned are the different forms of bhava. These are all bhavas, and Sthayi Bhav, Anubhav, Satviki Bhav, Vaibichari Bhav. They are all different categories of bhavas. From amongst them, the bhava that preeminently asserts itself like an emperor, embracing, controlling, and subjugating all other bhavas, whether conjugal, congenial, or conflicting, is the devotee's Sthayi Bhav. So among all the bhavas, there is one bhava which is prominent, which controls all others. And that is called as the Sthayi Bhav. Krishna Rati, transcendental love of Krishna, situated within the heart of the devotee Ashraya, is known as Sthayi Bhav. So there is a Krishna Rati, there is attraction to Krishna and Vatsalya, Sakya, or Madhurya. So that is known as Sthayi Bhav. So this Sthayi Bhav is the emperor, because without the Sthayi Bhav, all these others cannot combine and give rise to rasa, vibhava, anubhava. We have discussed ashray previously under the topic of samagri bhav. So where is the concept of ashray discussed in the samagri bhav? What is that ashray? Anyone knows? Raise your hands. Let us see. What is ashray? Where is the which is that samagri bhav where there is ashray discussed? Anyone knows? Raise your hands. Yes, Bir Krishna Prabhuji.
Uh, it's in Vibhava Prabhu.
Yes. Vishaya is Krishna, Ashraya is the devotee. And the devotee has love, Vatsalya or Sakya, whatever it is. And there is the Vishaya Alamban, the object of love, Krishna. And the, Ashraya means the shelter of love. That is the devotee. So there is Alamban. Alamban means for love, there have to be support too, Alamban. So we have discussed Ashraya previously under the topic of Samagri Bhav. We have placed Ashraya in the category of Alamban, basic cause. And Alamban is within Vibhav, within the spectrum of Vibhav. So I hope you understand this very clearly. In this way, we indirectly indicated the Sthayi Bhav within the heart of the devotee. So indirectly, it was indicated that there has to be Sthayi Bhav in the heart of the devotee. Mother Yashoda has to have Vatsalya Ras. And because she has this Sthayi Bhav of Vatsalya, then seeing the Vibhav, Krishna, and her heart, that is the Vishaya, there is that, and then there is, opening of her arms, that is Anubhav, hair standing on end, there is Satviki Bhav, and then all these combine together in the heart and give rise to Rasa. So that's how, all these bhavas combine to give rise to Rasa. Okay. Sthayi Bhav, the predominant bhava, brings the rest of the bhavas under its sway and orchestrates varying bhavas to act as the central impetus in the creation of rasa. So it is the central impetus to create rasa. In halwa, there is rasa, but there are ingredients which have combined to give rise to that halwa rasa. But the sugar acts as a central thing for creating that halwa rasa. There cannot be, a halwa which is spicy. Then you're not going to relish the rasa, the madhur rasa of halwa. If you add, instead of sugar, salt, or you add chili. So the sugar becomes the prominent bhava ingredient in halwa. Similarly, the Vatsalya Rati, which is there in Mother Yashoda, is the predominant Sthayi Bhav, which brings all of the bhavas under sway, and all this orchestrizes in order to give rise to rasa. Simultaneously, the remaining bhavas may be engaged to play the role of assistants to the particular bhava acting centrally. So all these others act as assistants, the Anubhava, the Satviki bhavas. All these Sthayi Bhav is the Aswadan Rupa, the cause of tasting spiritual mellow. It also is the Aswadya Rupa, the object of relish. So the Sthayi Bhav is the cause of tasting, but it is the object of relish, because you're relishing Krishna's beauty. Aswadya is the object of relish, and he causes us to taste rasa in our heart. Beautiful, no? In solitude, deeply contemplate the nature of Sthayi Bhav and thus analyze the distinctive features that separate Sthayi Bhav from other bhavas. Rati born of Sthayi Bhav is of two kinds, Mukhya Rati and Gauna Rati. So Rati means actually it is attraction. Rati means also bhava. Bhava is also called as Rati. So Rati is born. There is Sakya Rati, Vatsalya Rati, Madhurya Rati. So these are the Mukhya Ratis. And then there is the Gauna Rati, the Hasya Rati, the Vipatsya Rati, Bhayanaka Rati. All this become the Gauna Rati. Now, Vajranath ask questions. If you have any questions, you can also raise your hand up till now. If you have not understood anything. Any questions, any clarifications? Because this is a little technical and philosophical subject. I would not say technical. It is a spiritual, scientific subject, I can say. Up till now, have you understood it? Is it clear? Any questions you have? Okay. Bir Krish Prabhuji, yes.
Hare Krishna. So, what is the meaning of
Can you
Aswad?
speak a little loudly, please?
Prabhu, what is meaning of this Aswad Roop?
No, 1 minute. You have to speak a little loudly.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, now it is audible.
Yes, very much clear.
Prabhu, what is this Aswadya Roop exactly?
Aswadya means, actually the Sthayi Bhav, Aswadayan Roop, means this Sthayi Bhav causes one to relish, the Vibhav becomes the cause. See, there is Sthayi Bhava Vatsalya Ras in Mother Yashoda, but when Krishna is in the front, it activates the Sthayi because of the Vibhav. So in that sense, the Sthayi Bhav is the cause. And her object of relish is, Krishna. So she relishes that. So it becomes also Aswadya Rupa. Aswadayan Rup and Aswadya Rup. So like that it is. It is the cause and it is the cause of tasting mellow and it is the object of relish.
Right.
Mahaprabhu came to actually taste what relish Srimati Radharani, is relishing in her heart, seeing the object of her love. So that is, Prema Rasa Kare, Prema Rasa Niryas Karite Aswadana. He came to Aswadan that, to relish that, and her object of love. What Srimati Radharani relishes. So like that it is. Okay.
Right,
Any
right.
other,
Clear.
any other questions anyone has up till now? Okay. What is Mukyarati? So Vajranath will say, what is Mukyarati? Earlier in our explanations of Bhava Bhakti, we described Rati of Shuddha Sattva category. That is Mukyarati, to which we are now referring. So Bhava Bhakti is discussed in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Eastern Division, third wave. First wave is Samanya Bhakti, second wave is Sadhana Bhakti, third wave is Bhava Bhakti, and fourth wave is Prema Bhakti. So the definition, of course, now Rupa Goswami will also give the definition, Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma. So this Tahi Bhav is manifested only in the Shuddha Sattva platform. That means one is transcendental to the three modes. At the stage of Bhava, one is completely transcendental to the three modes. So it is, that is the Mukyarati, which we are now referring. Okay, now Vajranath, hearing this, we have studied Nyaya, an insignificant branch of knowledge compared to our present level of education. Our syllabus included a section on Rati. So in Nyaya also there is Rati. My views on Rati from that time have completely changed because of my realizations about the state of Shuddha transcendence. It is now clear to me that the sublime exchanges of rasa with the Supreme Personality Godhead are only feasible for a jiva situated in his swarup, untouched by material contamination. So in the material world also, living entities are, tasting rasa in the form of sense gratification, where they enjoy sense objects. That is also rasa. And there is a higher mental rasa in the form of relationships. It is a little subtle, but that is not from the Shuddha Sattva platform. Only at the Shuddha Sattva in Bhava Bhava stage, the relationship of the one who has attained his Swarupa, Krishna reveals his Swarupa, and there is exchange of rasa between the Supreme Soul and the soul. So that is what is, rasa, which is being discussed in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. But Nyaya also discusses rasa in, there is rasa in poetry, rasa in juice, flavors, so many things. But they are all material. But, this can be released only in the Shuddha Sattva platform. The rhetorician's concept of rati is mundane, as it proposes that rati is experienced by the jiva only in his materially embodied condition and by his subtle body of mind and intellect. So there is, I mentioned about mental rasa, intellectual rasa. Scientists who, are in research work, they are so absorbed in the research work, they forget about eating also sometimes. So all these are mundane rasas. Your explanation of rati has opened my eyes to the divine transcendental understanding of rasa, the most precious treasure of Shuddha Jiva, pure soul. So this rati or rasa is actually the rasa which is relished by the Shuddha Jiva. And this rasa is eternal. यही संस्पर्श जाबोगा दुख यो न एवते आद्यंतवंत कौन्तेय न तेषु रमते बुधा. So the rasa of sense gratification, be form of eating, nice gulab jamun or rasgulla. You eat how much you can eat, but then the taste comes down and causes stomach trouble. Dukkha yo na evate. And then the highest rasa in this material world, that is in the form of sex life. The pleasure is, insignificant, but it is a source of all misery. So these are all material rasas, but the Shuddha Jiva pure rasa is eternal, it is never ending, it is always incrementing, it is always rising higher. Ananda Ambudhi Vardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Aswadanam. So that is the spiritual rasa. The Baddha Jiva, conditioned soul, on the contrary, has very little access to transcendental rasa and can only eventually come to the position of relishing such rasa by the mercy of the Ladini Shakti. I would like to learn more about the details of Shudrati, pure transcendental attachment. So at the stage of bhava, when one devotee reaches the stage of asakti by his bhajan in Raganuga sadhana, the Lord's Ladini Shakti from the spiritual world, from the heart of Krishna, descends and impregnates the heart of that Siddha who has attained a bhava, because bhava is bestowed. Bhava cannot be attained by our own endeavors. Ultimately, by the mercy of the Lord, when the Lord sees that he's qualified and, after a lot of testing, the Lord gives Bhava Bhakti, because once he gives Bhava Bhakti, the Lord is under the control of the devotee. He is controlled by prema of the devotee. So the Lord will dance according to the devotee's desire. So the Lord will think. That's why Bhava Bhakti is considered very sudurlabha. So the Samvit potency and the Ladini potency combine together and become what is called as the Bhakti Shakti. And this Ladini Shakti is what, gives relish of the rasa. So this happens at the stage of bhava. So I want to know more about it, he said. Okay, 1 second. I'll just, I don't know why this, I'll animate these slides. Yeah. Gopal Guru Goswami was extremely pleased to hear Vajranath's perceptive analysis of this esoteric philosophy. Purely teardrops. Teardrops would say like pearls, rained down from his eyes in uncontained joy. He embraced Vajranath and said, I'm truly fortunate to have gained a disciple like you. Listen, Mukyarati is divided into two, Swartha and Parartha. So the Mukyarati is Swartha and Parartha. Vajranath, what is the nature of Swartha Mukyarati? Of course, we are going to study this in detail now, very soon. Goswami, Swartha nourishes itself with the help of all congenial bhavas. However, opposing bhavas produce a diminution. So, Swartha nourishes itself, combining with all other bhavas like Vibhav, Anubhav, and all. The Mukhya Rati is relished in the form of Vatsalya Ras. But if there are opposing bhavas, then what happens? It produces diminution. So opposing bhavas will be, sometimes like, uh, sometimes the Gaun Ratis are opposing to the Mukhya Rati. Like Vatsalya goes with Karuna. It is compatible with Karuna. But, Vatsalya with Hasya will not go. It's only Sakya Rati, the friends of Krishna, they relish, Hasya Ras with Krishna. So then these opposing bhavas come, then, the Vatsalya Rati is diminished. So it only nourishes itself. So that's why it is called as Swartha. Vajranath, what is the nature of Parartha Mukhya Rati? Parartha Rati contradicts itself to accommodate both congenial and opposing bhavas. Contracts itself to accommodate, not contradicts, contracts. So it accommodates both bhavas, which are opposing and congenial. So of course, we'll study this in more detail now, very soon. That time it will become more clear. There is another higher division of Mukrati into 5 types. So first there is Parartha and Swartha. Then there is Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. Just as the sun rays produce many colors of light when passing through different varieties of chords, similarly, Shuddharati produces distinct and variant symptoms when passing through different shades of Sthayi Bhav. Okay, so that's the end of the discussion in part of from Jaiva Dharma. As and when further, when we study Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, we will take up discussion from the Jaiva Dharma. So any questions you have up till now? Of course, if you have not clear still about Swa Artha and Parartha, hold on. We will study these definitions right away now, and it will become more clear. But up till now, any other questions, any other clarifications you need? Okay, so let's start now with the verse from the southern division, that is 2. Fifth wave, that is Sthayi the first verse. Aviruddhan viruddhamscha bhavanyo vashatam nayan Surajeva virajete saha Sthayi bhava uchyate. So the definition of Sthayi bhava, that bhava which bhavanyo, controlling, vashatam, other favorable bhavas such as hasya, avirdhan, and contradicting bhavas such as krodha, viruddhamsha, presides, virajate, in the manner nayan, of an efficient ruler. Surajive is called Sthayi bhava. So Sthayi bhava uchyate. So we saw this definition in even when among all the categories of mentioned different forms, among all of them, the bhava that preeminently asserts itself like an emperor, embracing, controlling, and subjugating all of the bhavas, whether conjugal or conflicting, is the devotee Sthayi bhava. So same thing you can see here in the definition. So whether it is congenial or not congenial, but it is like emperor. So that is called as Sthayi bhava. So that is the definition of Sthayi bhava. Okay, so let's see the commentary now. The non-contradictory bhavas of Vedam are such as hasyarati, laughter. And the contradictory bhavas are those like krodharati, anger. The bhava which rules over all these bhavas is called Sthayi bhava or permanent bhava. It's a permanent bhava. This cannot change. The mother Yashoda will always, it will not mean that, she will change her rati towards Krishna from Madhurya, from Vatsalya to Madhurya. No, it will always be Vatsalya. Okay. Text 2. Sthahi bhavotra sa proktah Shri Krishna Vishaya rati Mukhya gauni cha sadveda rasagya parikirtita. In this context, atra, the rati directed towards Krishna, Shri Krishna Vishaya, because Krishna is a Vishaya, is called sa prokta, the Sthahi bhavo. Those knowledgeable of rasa say that parikirtita, there are two types of Sthahi bhav, say Veda, Mukhya and Gauni, primary and secondary. Which are the primary ratis? Anyone? Raise your hands. Which are the primary? Chakra Rama Prabhuji. Which are the primary?
Hare Krishna. Santa Dasa, Vatsalya,
Yes.
Sakha,
And Madhurya. Excellent.
and Madhurya.
Yeah. It's very simple, but I just wanted to cross-check. Okay. So Sthahi bhav is of two types, Mukhya and Gaun. Okay. Further, Jiva Goswami. In order to give additional understanding of the previous statement, this verse is spoken. It was stated that Sthahi bhav is rati directed towards Krishna in 2.5 to 1.5. 2.1.5, when Vibha was discussed also, Sthahi bhav was mentioned there. Now this is repeated with elaboration. That same thing that was discussed, because Vibhav, to define Vibhav, we have to first speak about Sthahi bhav. Because without Sthahi bhav, there is no question of Vibhav. So that time it was discussed. So now the same thing, Sthahi bhav, is discussed in elaboration. Thus, two types of Sthahi bhav are explained. The primary ratis are described starting with verse 3 of this chapter. And the secondary ratis are described from verse 39 till the end of the chapter. So verse 3 to 38 will discuss primary ratis, and 39 till the end of chapter will discuss the secondary ratis. Okay. Tatra mukhya. Not mukhya. Shuddha sattva visheshatma ratir mukhyeti kirtita mukhyapi dvividha swartha parartha cheti kirtayate. Mukhya rati, the rati which is Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma, composed of the Ladini and the Samvishakti. I mentioned this if you remember. Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma means, the Ladini Shakti has descended in the heart, and the Samvit Shakti is the knowledge potency. The Ladini Shakti is the potency which gives pleasure. So the Shuddha Sattva is the combination of the Ladini and the Samvit, is called a primary rati. Rati Mukhyata Kirtita. Though this is primary, rati, mukhyapi, it takes two forms. So this mukhya primary rati, it takes two forms. Dvivida kirtate. Swartha and parartha. Swartha, parartha, cheti. So this primary rati itself takes two forms, which is called as swartha and parartha. So the mukhya rati takes these two forms, swartha and parartha. Let us see that. Okay. The word Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma refers to the definition given in 131. So what is this definition 131? Anyone knows? Let us see. Raise your hands. What is this definition 131? Anyone knows? Raise your hands. The definition given is 131, it was mentioned. If you know this, then you have really studied Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu quite thoroughly. Anyone knows? Yes, Veer Krishna Prabhuji. 131, yes. I've unmuted him.
Hare Krishna,
Yes.
Prabhu. Prabhu, it is Suddha Sattva Visheshatma Prema Suryansu Samya Bhak.
Yes, it is Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma Prema Suryansha Samibhat. But what is that? What is that
It's a
defining?
defining Bhava Bhakti, Prabhu.
Yes, it is defining Bhava Bhakti. The definition of Bhava Bhakti is being given there. So the definition of Bhava Bhakti is being described in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Eastern Division in the third wave. In the third wave, it is described. So Rupa Goswami is referring to that. He is referring to that. And I am just going to open this and show it to you so that we are very, very clear. We are very, very clear about this. Okay, here I am sharing the screen with y'all. This is 131 Eastern Division Bhava Bhakti. Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma Prema Suryamshu Samya Bhak Ruchibhischitta Marshanya Krit Aso Bhava Uchate. This is the definition. That part of bhakti is called Bhava, Aso Bhava Uchate, whose essence is Samvit and Ladini Shakti. Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma, which is one ray of the sun of Prema, which will soon rise in the heart. Prema Suryanshu Samya Bhak, and which softens the heart. Chitta Marshanya Krit, with desires to meet, serve, and exchange love with Krishna. Ruchi. So this is what Rupa Goswami is referring now when he is speaking about here, when he's speaking about this here. Okay, so this is a definition. Now, everything, all these 2-3 verses we discussed, Prabhupada is summarizing, and I'm just going through it. The continuous ecstasy of love can remain like a powerful king, subduing all other temporary manifestations of love, as well as any opposing elements of anger. So this is the definition of Sthayi Bhav. It can be exhibited directly or indirectly, and thus the ecstatic love can be described as direct or indirect. This is Swartha and Parartha. These symptoms of ecstatic love are possible only when one is fully situated in the transcendental position. Shuddha Sattva Vishesha. Direct ecstatic love can be divided into 2 groups, namely selfish and selfless. Okay, so sorry, this direct and indirect is Mukhya and Gauna. And this direct ecstatic love is selfish or selfless. Swartha and Parartha. Okay, now let's go to the definition of Swartha and Parartha and try to understand it. Up till now, I hope devotees are very, very clear, and I presume that you are able to understand the discussion. Any doubts, any questions, please feel free to raise your hands. Yes, Veer Krishna Prabhuji.
Prabhu, at this stage of Bhava, this Samvit and Ladini Shakti together, they manifest in the devotee's heart. This role of Samvit Shakti is to eliminate all the darkness from the devotees, and this is how we have to understand. Bodily conception is lost and completely is.
No. See, there are the 3 Shaktis, the spiritual potencies, just like the 3 modes, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. So similarly, the spiritual energy, this is one classification, not that there are unlimited internal potencies of the Lord. There is a Sandhini potency, there is a Samvit potency, and then there is a Ladini potency. The Samvit potency is the knowledge potency of the Lord, where one understands knowledge about himself, that I am the soul, and knowledge about the Lord. So Bhagavad Sambandha Gyan. So now we are acquiring this knowledge about Bhakti. We are in touch with the Samvit potency. So this Gyan also has to become Vigyan. Like I have the knowledge that I'm not this body and spirit soul, but I might not be realized and be situated in self-realized. So the Samvit potency helps us to understand and realize this, because we have to hear, and based on what we hear and apply the principles of Shastra, we have to realize it. So that is in touch with the Samvit potency. The Sandhini potency is, by which everything is maintained, the constitutional existence of the soul, the constitutional existence of the Lord. He is the Vibhu, we are Anu, and the entire spiritual world. It is actually the Shakti of Balram. So our spiritual existence is maintained. So it is a Sat potency in one sense, you can say. And there's a Chitta potency, by which you understand. And the Anand is what? The Ladini. So as we relish this knowledge, of the Gita, the Bhagavatam, then there is naturally the pleasure. The pleasure increases in the heart. So as we come to the transcendental position, then we start getting chanting, routine chanting. So we start relishing the Ladini, in one such sense. And then when we further advance and completely, relish the bliss in bhakti, rasa in bhakti. So at the stage of bhava, actually this samvit potency descends into the heart, by which we attain bhava. So in that sense, the samvit and the ladini have completely fructified. And now we have, realized and we have attained bhava. So that is what it means. I hope you got it clear.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Now let us see Swartha and Parartha today. Avriddhe sputam bhave ushnati atmanam eva va viruddhe dukkha glani sa swartha kataitarati. So that Mukhya Rati was further divided into, so direct was divided into selfish and selfless. So now the Mukhya Rati, Swartha is being discussed. That primary Rati, Sa, Vidya, clearly nourishes its life. Pushnati Atmanam Eva, with non-contradictory bhavas. There, Sputave, and becomes intolerably depressed with sorrow, dukkha glani, by contradictory bhavas, virudhe, or kateta, the swarth rati, nourishing itself, swarth rati. Okay, ata parartha. Aviruddham viruddham cha sankuchanti swayam rati ya bhavam anugranati sa parartha nigadyate. That same primary rati which ya bhavam restricting sanchanti swayam rati accepts anugranati, both non-contradictory aviruddham and contradictory, viruddham cha, which then becomes prominent, is called parartha, nourishing other powers. Sa parartha nigaddate. So, in the parartha, just like, for vatsalya, na, krodh, which is a secondary gauna bhava, that will, diminish the vatsalya rati. So it doesn't go. you know. But in the Sakya Ras, Krishna and Balram, Krishna and the friends fighting, then they are in Veera Ras also. So Sakya is also going along with the Veera Ras. And when the Veera Ras, takes prominence, in fighting, they forget their friends, and they fight like enemies, So the Veera, the contradictory bhava of Veera becomes prominent. And you're relishing that Veera Ras. So that is what is called as Parartha. So that is the difference. The primary ratis become secondary when they allow the 7 bhavas such as Hasya to become prominent. These 7 then take the form of secondary Sthayi bhavas. So I mentioned about now anger in Sakyaras, Veeraras. Veeraras, takes over the primary Sakyaras, the contradictory and non-contradictory bhavas, and that becomes primary. So that time, one is said to be relishing, the parartha. So that is the 2 divisions in the Mukhya. Okay. 256. Shuddha priti sata sakyam vatsalyam priyate aso swapararteva sa mukhya punah pancha vidha bhaved. A primary rati in these 2 forms. Primary rati has these 2 forms. Swa parartha eva sa mukhya has 5 varieties. Puna pancha vidha bhaved. Shuddha, Preeti, that is Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Priyata, that is Madhurya. So this primary rati which has these 2, Swartha and Parartha, these have further 5 varieties. That is, the Shuddha is what? Shanta. This is Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. I hope you are clear about it. Okay. वैशिष्ट्यं पात्र वैशिष्ट्यात् रति एषोपगच्छति यथार्क प्रतिबिम्बात्मा स्फटिकादिषु वस्तुषु. The rati takes on upagachati, a specific type, one of the 5, vaishishtya, according to the individual nature of the devotee. Patra vaishishtya. What is his nature? Just as the sun takes on various forms when reflected through crystals and other items, yatha arka pratibimba, the rati takes on various forms when manifesting in different individuals. So this rati, one who is in dasya, it takes on various flavors and colors, just like the sun is passing through a prism, a crystal, and then it will produce various colors. The same sun is passing through lapis or a ruby, then it will produce different colors, So similarly, rati, based on the nature of the devotee, patra visheshyat, it will take on various, colors, various forms. It will come in various individuals. Of course, this also, if you see exactly, this was defined by also Bhaktivinoda Thakur here. Just like sun rays produce many colors of light when passing through different varieties of cords, similarly, Shuddha Rati produces distinct and variant symptoms when passing through the different shades of Sthayi Bhav. So this is the same in the form of definition given by Rupa Goswami. Okay. Jiva Goswami and his commentary. The example of reflection of the sun in crystal and other items is used to illustrate the variety that rati assumes in different individuals, and not to illustrate that those who receive rati have only some reflection and not genuine rati. That is, since it is composed of Ladini and Shambhat Shaktis. So this example which is given, it doesn't mean that they have pratibimba bhava. No, just the reflection produces different colors. So this rati produces different, uh, assumes different flavors in different individuals based on their, rati, either dasya, sakya. just I'm giving an example just to try to understand this. When Krishna comes back from the forest after grazing, those who are in the Madhurya Ras, they are attracted to Krishna, the gopis, and seeing their object of love, they are experiencing the Madhurya Rati, the attraction. Mother Yashoda, for her Vatsalya Rati, that same object becomes, the object of affection in in Vatsalya. The friends of Krishna, they are experiencing different colors, shades, flavors. And those who are servants there, oh, now we have to dress Krishna, we have to bathe Krishna, we have to assist him. So they are experiencing different emotions. So all are experiencing different emotions. So that is what is being explained here. Because of the particular differences, 5 distinct conditions appear, which are given 5 different names. So that's why, because they are experiencing distinct things, emotions, so there are these 5 divisions. So Prabhupada again further says, when non-contradictory symptoms of ecstatic love are distinctly manifest, any contradictory symptoms create a sense of abomination. So this is Swa-Artha definition. Contradictory ecstatic love is called selfish. The ecstatic love, which can adjust all contradictory and non-contradictory symptoms, is called direct selfless love. This is Parartha. These selfless symptoms can be again divided into 5 groups: Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. Such ecstatic love assumes a particular mode in contact with different objects of love. Okay, now the discussion will begin of Shanta. Shantarati discussion will begin. So any questions, clarifications you have up till now? Any questions, any doubts up till now? Peer Krish Prabhuji, yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, this 5 primary ratis, do they also have various seats in, individual ratis, they have various seats, or it is, how it is?
Various shades means, what do you mean?
Various seats means like if you talk about Sakya or Vatsalya. So in that also the degree varies between devotees. How it is?
No. I'm still not getting what you're exactly trying to say.
I'm trying to say, Prabhu, suppose when we talk of, for example, Sakya Rasa. So Sakya Rasa, for Arjuna, it may be, that degree and intensity may be different, and some other devotees like other gopas, they may be having other kinds of, emotions. in Sakya.
Yes, it is there. It is there, and it will come up in the discussion when we study the 3rd division of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. The 3rd division is called as the, Western division, the Paschima Vibhaga, and that discusses the 5 ratis. Maybe here, I don't know whether it will come up in Rupa Goswami's discussion, but there it will come up. So there, there are, you have friends. In this world also you can have friends, but there are deep friends who have heart-to-heart relation. And there are, that is why here there is, Saka, Bandhu, Surit. Saka means just a friend. Bandhu means, he's a heart-to-heart friend. He's a close friend. But Surit means, he's a heart-to-heart friend. So similarly in the Sakyarati, there are higher divisions. There is the Gaurav Sakyaras, which Arjuna is situated, and there is the Vishramba. Vishramba Sakyaras is, where there is another Arjuna who is a Saka in Golok Vrindavan. So he has, pure Sakyaras with him, and he considers Krishna as friend and not as God. Whereas Arjuna knows Krishna as God, although he has Sakyarati. So like that, there are degrees even in that. So there is, many who are dasas in Dasyaras. But there are some dasas who have a lot of intimacy with the Lord, who intimately serve the Lord. So their relish is on a different level, right? So like that, there is also degrees in that. Yes, you are right about it.
All right. Thank you.
Questions? Okay, so we will stop here and we will begin with now discussion on Shantarti from tomorrow. Shanta, and then there are again further divisions in it. We'll see all the definitions and then we'll go to Sakya and then Dasya, then Vatsalya, and then Madhurya in the Sthayi Bhav. Very interesting discussion it is. We'll go a little slowly because this subject is highly philosophical. And devotees, please feel free to ask questions and if you're not able to understand anything. Thank you very, very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu ki jai. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai. Hare Krishna.